Welcome to our episode 2 of Sound of Music. I welcome my friend Ritesh Khokhar on today's episode, who's a very senior music educator and has an experience of 25 years behind him. He's also been into performances around the globe and has worked with a band called Blue Funk. Is that what it is?
Yes, Blue
So
Funk.
we welcome Ritesh Khokhar to this episode. Ritesh, tell us about your early influences. What drew you to piano?
So I basically am a jat. I come from a non-musical family, not a musician. My entire family, and in school I got interested in music somehow because I was in Springdale schools at that point, and I was very good with painting. But the arts department was not very great. So someone said, "Why don't you go and try music?" So I did that. I picked up the sitar. That was my first instrument,
Wow.
and I played that. Then I played a bit of bass, bit of guitar, bit of drums, bit of keyboards,
A bit of
then
everything.
bit of everything.
Ah.
And then I had to make a decision which one do I really want to excel in. And somehow it happened to be keyboard, and then I played keyboard with bands for 7 years before learning to read the first note of music.
So was that your school time
School time, yeah,
performance?
yes.
Okay.
So I was 14 when we opened for the first concert of Parikrama.
Oh yes.
That was in Cornucopia.
That's a
back
fantastic
in
band.
1991.
Yeah.
1991. That was the first thing. We
Okay.
opened for them. My band
Okay.
opened for them, and I was playing the keyboard, so that's kind of what I stuck to. And 98 is when my formal training started.
Okay.
I was
So Ritesh, tell me, when you started learning in 1998, so did you first choose a teacher, or did you go in for a system? Like, did you choose Trinity or ABRSM as a choice and then you started learning, or did you really find out whom you're going to learn from?
So that time it was very different than the way it is today. The internet wasn't there really. 97 is when the internet came to India. 96, I think. And I was doing my software engineering at that time. It was a 2-year diploma course that I did, and I was also interested in music. And I did actually stumble upon two not so good teachers. They were violinists trying to teach me piano, kind of a thing. So that I did not enjoy much. So then my friends kept telling me that you are talented, you need to go and study with a good teacher. So we had heard of this graded exam system, Trinity, and all of those things. So I walked into Delhi School of Music back then, and I asked Shankar sir was sitting outside. He was a very phenomenal classical guitar teacher. So I asked him, "Sir, I want to do my grade 8. How long will it take?" He said, "8 years." I said, "Okay, see you, bye." I walked out. Then I said, "Well, I have to learn." And another few push from my friends, and I went in there, and I got lucky to land up with Geeta Upal ma'am.
Yeah.
She's the current director. So
She's the current director of the school. Yeah.
So she was my first teacher at Delhi School of Music. And I got lucky because I was into rock and pop and all of that music. I had no idea who was Mozart or Beethoven at that time. And I couldn't even pronounce those words correct. So I walked in there for knowledge. I was not aware of who is going to teach me, what are they going to teach me. They
Okay.
only taught classical music, so I didn't have
That's
a choice.
right.
So they only taught classical music, and that's what I started learning. But because I was playing for 7-8 years and I was very hungry for knowledge, I was curious, what have I been playing all this while? So when she taught me and I did theory, I completed my grade 5 theory in like 1 year or so. And I was playing a grade 5 level piano pieces in just 1.5 year, performing it in concerts
You
at
know,
Delhi
that's
School.
also because before you took to formal training, you were playing by ear. So I feel that if you have internalized music, you feel the music, then it's very easy for you to relate to formal training also. It's
Kind of.
faster.
It has its pros and cons.
Yeah.
The cons are that since I did not pick up the correct technique right from the beginning,
Yeah, I
my
know.
technique was very flawed. And
Yeah.
when teacher showed me the do this, do that, I was like, oh wow. So then,
Yeah.
but the good thing was that I was really passionate about it. I don't know why till date, but I was really passionate about it. And my practice duration used to be like 8 to 10 hours a day.
Every day.
Every day. For 4 years, I did that. And that is the reason why my first exam was a grade 8. I did not take any exams going up all the way because I did stop for a grade 5. I said, let's do a grade 5 exam. And
So here I would like to stop and say there is discipline behind this artistry.
Absolutely.
Right?
All these subjects, violin, piano, drums, vocals, whatever, they're called disciplines for that reason.
Yeah.
It takes discipline to get any of these.
You have to be consistent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Consistency is the key. So I was practicing on an average, I would say 8 hours a day. And I had certain rules to myself that I will not go to sleep without at least doing a technical work On the days if I'm out for a social gathering, I reach home at 1 o'clock. I sleep at 3 because 2 hours of technical work is a must.
And when you talk about technical practice, what does that include? Scales, arpeggios?
Scales, broken chords, arpeggios, and scales got very boring because if you're playing just major minor scales 2 hours a day,
Yeah.
they'll get very boring very soon.
Did you
So
also include etudes in your?
yes. So
Yeah.
Hanon, Czerny, I
Yeah.
used to do a lot of etudes from
Yeah.
here and there.
Okay.
So, but lot of things, and sometimes I would make my own exercises because they say that you are the best teacher for your technique because only you know how your hand functions. So I knew what kind of technical flaws I had, and when my teacher fixed it, I would devise my own exercises to practice on those things.
That's
so my
exactly what
technique
I do.
get
Suppose I
fixed.
introduce a very simple C major scale to one of my students. One is playing legato, one is playing staccato, then one hand can play legato, the other hand can play staccato, then we can do slurs, we play it in triplets. There are so
Correct.
many other variations that we do to
Correct.
the same scale.
Absolutely.
Similar and contrary motion, but that's great. So tell me, what drew you to teaching music? How did you become an educator?
So I was teaching. How my teaching started was very interesting. Actually, Geeta ma'am had some surgery. So in the month of June, she had a surgery. In July, she asked me, "I can't get back to teaching. Can you take over my students?" And this was with just 1.5 years of learning for myself. And she asked me to substitute for her. I walked into the class. Funny enough, my first student was a tall Sardaji. And I asked him, "So how long have you been playing?" He's like, "I've been learning for 12 years. I was like, "You should be teaching me. Why am I teaching you?" So it's a matter of discipline, right? He was not very disciplined. And I quite liked the whole process of teaching, that you're breaking down things for somebody else. And being somebody who actually did not have the formal training in the beginning, I know what that struggle feels like when you're curious to know something and there is nobody explaining it to you.
Yes.
There was no internet, there was no YouTube that time. So it was very difficult to get anything across. So I quite enjoyed breaking down those things for people. And because I came from a rock and pop background, I was able to relate to the music that these people typically listen to. Let's face facts, nobody has Mozart and Beethoven on their playlists.
That's right.
Everybody's listening to Ed Sheeran, Beyonce, and Taylor Swift.
That's right.
Right. Same
Yeah.
was the case that time. So
Yeah.
these
This
kids
is
were
reality.
this is reality.
Yeah.
These kids were listening to all kinds of music,
Yeah.
and they were trying to play Beethoven and Mozart in the class.
Yeah.
And the moment I relate to them with the music that they were trying to play and break down that song for them or something, they were suddenly fired up. So I really enjoyed the whole thing of sparking that first fire for them, getting the passion for music going. First, fall in love with the art, then you can polish your skills later, I think.
Absolutely.
So that's how it started, and I quite enjoyed that. So I kind of stuck to
So
it.
you're still continuing teaching.
Absolutely.
And so you have your own academy, is that right?
Yes.
So where do you operate from in Delhi, NCR?
So my first school was actually the Gurgaon School of Music. That was in 2002, which was the first private school which was teaching both classical and rock music under the same roof.
Okay.
There was no other music school doing it back then.
Wow.
Theme started around the same time, and they were only doing classical music. They were not doing rock and pop. And we were the first proper school which had both of these things. In 2009, I kind of broke away from that and started Bridge Music Academy. And since 2009, it was just one center at Rajendra Nagar, West Delhi, which is not the best market for us, but really we enjoy teaching, working with the kids there and everything. So it grew from there, and today we have like 7 centers. Wow. And we are working with the IIT Delhi for past 10 years.
Congratulations on that.
Our teachers are going there, and yeah, we are spreading.
Yeah. So tell me, how do you see the state of music education in India at the moment?
See, we have to divide that into two divisions. One is the music education that is going out to the schools, which is the roots, right? If you get the right nurturing in terms of arts for the grassroots level in the schools, then that's going to have a driving impact on the whole industry later on.
That's right.
That's one of the key projects that I'm working on these days. It's called Bridge to Music, and we are working with a company called Charanga, which is based out of UK.
Okay.
And they are in 12,500 schools in 64 countries. Okay. And we are bringing that EdTech platform to India.
Okay.
And that is general music education. That's basically like, kids study maths and science at school. They are not going to become a big mathematician or an engineer. Not all of them, obviously. So similarly, we are doing the general music program for the kids in schools. So every child gets the foundational knowledge, skills, and understanding of music. So at least they're able to appreciate good music, and they will be inspired to learn an instrument if they like. so they can do those things later. But this is what's going to create that foundation for them to get interested in the arts.
So this is the foundation and the elementary education you're
Correct.
talking about,
Correct.
right? So when you talk about music education per se in the elementary level, are you talking about like singing, or are you talking about music
There are two
education
things.
for kids?
One is being a musician,
Yeah.
and other is being musical.
Yeah.
Not everybody can be a musician, but everybody can be musical.
Yeah.
That means having a sense of pitch, sense of rhythm, being able to move to music, being able to clap back rhythms, being able to respond to music in a way.
Yeah, like call and response.
Yes, call and response, and be able to
Yeah.
describe music.
Absolutely.
So if they listen to a form of music, any song, and they would say, okay, this is a thick texture because there's drums playing, there's bass playing, there's keyboards playing, there's guitars playing, there's lead guitar playing, the backing vocals. So that's a thick texture.
Yeah.
As opposed to a violin playing, that's a very thin texture. There's only one instrument playing. So being able to talk in the language of music, being able to describe basic terms like what is harmony,
what is a form,
melody, what is a form, all of those things.
Yeah.
Those basic understanding, basic vocabulary, and being able to respond to music musically, being able to sing a phrase back, those kind of things. That is what constitutes general music.
So this is your current project that you're working on.
Yes.
And tell me, since you've been a performer, how is it to perform in a band different from a solo performance and for a child? And what impact does ensemble playing have on a child?
So one of the key benefits of learning to play a musical instrument is social skills.
That's right.
And social skills get developed only when you play in an ensemble or in a band. Because in a band, you have to learn to depend on somebody else's part, and the other people in the ensemble depend on your part. So that happens only when you are interacting with other musicians in that. If you are playing solo, first of all, everything is on you. So you carry a big responsibility of carrying the flow, carrying the, having that expression. Everything is boiled down to
It's like a one-man show.
Absolutely. Very tightrope walk, really, if you're playing classical music. Not so much if you're playing jazz, because you're literally improvising. So there's no right or wrong there. But with classical music, that is considered, being a solo pianist is one of the hardest professions in the world, really. And when it comes to playing in a band, you know that somebody's got your back. I played with, obviously, a lot of bands. Over 500 concerts I played. Half the band names I don't even remember these days. There's so many bands. I played only one gig. And I remember one gig we played at Joy Festival in 2018. This was with a band called Punk. And I played only that one concert with them. This was to 7,000 people. And I played with that band only once. But we have to learn to adapt to what are the strengths in the band, what are the weaknesses in the band.
And how to cover up for each other.
Exactly. Yeah. So one of the Bandish, obviously one of the great bands that I was with, the singer would often forget the form of the song. So what he will do is he'll sing his part, and there's a solo after it. He forgot whether it's a guitar solo or keyboard solo, and he'll announce very nicely, on keyboards we have Mr. Ritesh Khokhar, and Ritesh has to take a solo. It was a guitar solo, but I have to improvise a solo on the spot. It's not my solo. I didn't have a solo in the song, but I have to create one on the spot because I'm being announced. So I can't say, sorry, you got it wrong.
Right. You always have to be ready.
Show has to go on, right? So you have to improvise and get away with things. One of the gigs I remember, we played at Unison University, and the band got together after 6 months. We didn't have a rehearsal at all. We met at the venue, Dehradun, and the organizers came and said, oh, typically I know that you guys perform for 90 minutes. We have 2 hours, so take your time. And we had exactly 90 minutes set ready. So they said, can we get an acoustic guitar? And somebody got us the guitar, and we figured out 2 more songs on the spot without our instruments in the room sitting like this. Went on stage. We are going to play those 2 songs. That's great. Just before we are getting on stage, band leader Kitty says, buddy, you're going to take a solo today. We need to cover time. Like, okay. As a professional, you can't say no.
No.
And you would not believe, on the spot, I entertained the audience for 8 minutes, solo keyboards, on the spot.
Wow.
And the band got off the stage. On keyboards, we have Mr. Ritesh is taking a solo. Thank you so much. And the whole band got off the stage. So it turned into a solo performance on the spot.
So expect the unexpected.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So tell me, in today's times, what have you noticed amongst young learners? Are they interested in performing, or are they just interested in giving exams and getting and just score?
So yeah,
what is your take?
Unfortunately, I think the biggest need of the hour is the orientation for the parents. Because when the kids start learning music, some of them come because they're very interested in music themselves. but often they are encouraged into music by their parents because the parents are interested in the music, but they don't understand what real learning is about. And they India is a very certificate and qualification driven industry, really education industry for that matter, and parents are always concerned about where's the next exam, where's the next certificate, but are they really learning, are they really getting to that level?
There are no takeaways really. I mean, uh, to me, I mean, when parents get in touch, 6 months they want to sit for another exam, they want to skip grades, they don't want to work on foundation. So there's no music learning per se. It's more like competing with their peers in school. So that's exactly what I wanted to talk about today. As a very senior music educator, what advice would you want to give to young students
Hmm.
and also their parents?
So I think people should learn music for the sake of music,
Yeah.
right? Music is a life skill, and that is kind of the food for your soul, as they say, food for your thought, food for your brain,
Yeah.
your body. So you can do aerobics and athletics and whatever you want.
It's meditative,
It's
no?
meditative, but it's literally a life skill for you as a music. I have had students, and this is a very simple way to identify if the child is actually learning music for the love of music, or he's just being pushed into the scenario. What happens is they burn out, they do their grade 7, grade 8 with great difficulty, and they get the certificate, and that is the last day they touch the instrument. They give up
That's
on
right.
music, right?
That's right.
I have had students who finished their grade 6 exam, and the first class, this girl comes with a list of 29 pieces of classical music listed. So, which all of these are within my capacity to learn. Now, that is a instance where I know that she is doing it for the love of music.
Yeah.
That I've been able to instigate that love and lifelong love for music. She is now, she did a grade 8 long time back. She was 13 or 14 years old when she did a grade 8. She is a student at the University of Hong Kong now and doing some totally other course. She keeps in touch. Wherever she gets a chance, she goes and plays the piano, listens to music, and she has music as a part of her life.
Yeah.
That's a big win for a teacher if you can do that.
Yeah.
But if
So
the
you've
child is getting
instilled
something,
that love of music in her.
and that's my aim when I'm teaching as a teacher,
Yes.
my purpose is to give them the music for life, spark the first interest in music. Once they're interested in music, give them the right skills and foundation
So
to
that they
build
can
upon.
live through it. They can live the
Absolutely.
music that they learn. Yeah. So how do you prepare these children for these board exams like Trinity or ABRSM
Hmm.
and I think
Rock school.
MTV board
MTV.
also.
Yeah, I haven't done MTB or LCM yet, but I mostly do ABRSM or Trinity or Rock
ABRS.
School.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I do all these boards, and I tell them that you are on a journey.
Hmm.
You're going from suppose Delhi to Dehradun.
Hmm.
On the way, there will be milestones which tell you how far your destination is,
Hmm.
right? But those milestones is not the destination, and that is exactly your music exams. Don't make those exams your destination.
That's
They
right.
are milestones that are going to pass you by on your journey.
Yeah.
And with music, there is no journey. You think I stopped learning? No, I'm still learning. I'm finding new things, and I'm learning with
Yeah.
new teachers, and wherever I get an
So because we
opportunity.
have to refresh our own skills also, no? And tell me, when you choose on a grade to teach a student, so are you only focusing on those three pieces or there is supplement playing alongside
Mhm.
till they appear for that exam?
So I have worked with the Trinity College London. I was the academic consultant for them.
I
I've done
know,
teachers
yeah.
training across India for them. I've done teachers training across India for Rock School as well. And I have dealt with all kinds of teachers across. There are few fantastic teachers, there are not so good teachers. And there is a huge population of teachers which focus on exams only, and they just do three pieces a year. And they take the exam, and the day they
I
get
know
the result,
many in Delhi also, they would not let you skip any grade. So I
oh,
feel that music has now become like a business. So the whole year you will just prepare that one particular grade, even if you have the ability.
mhm.
You will not be introduced to anything new. You will not be allowed to skip the grade. So it is business. So music has become like a big business. So as an educator, this is what I thought we should bring this issue and
Mhm.
talk about it. How would you want to change it, and what would you like to say about it?
See, it is business at some level. I don't deny that. But
Yes.
business can be done ethically. Selling guns is a business, right? We are not into that business. It's a very noble cause. So that's why I'm saying the need of the hour is the orientation for the parents.
Yes.
And I tell them that, obviously, I don't do three pieces for the exams. I always have whatever I'm doing with the child, I always let the child know why we are doing what we are doing. So I have a separate series of pieces going always to develop their sight reading, and their interpretation, because you need to go through a variety of music to be able to interpret different styles of music. And there's so many styles of music. Recently, I was researching there are 15 genres of music which originated dedicatedly from USA. 15 of them.
15.
15, maybe more. So, and similar genres have come from Europe and from UK and from India for that matter. There's so many genres of music, right? So you have to expose them to all the genres. How are you going to do that with 3 pieces a year?
Yeah.
By the time they're done their grade 8, they played what, 8 into 3, like
Which is
24 odd
nothing.
pieces. It's
Which
nothing.
Is,
There are more genres than the number of pieces they would have done by grade 8.
yeah.
Right. So they have very, very limited understanding of music. They're not at that level. Right. So I always expose them to a lot of music. And even with the exam pieces, I typically do 3, 4, 5 of those pieces, and then they pick and choose the best 3 out of them. That's what I do.
Oh, that's what you. So you prepare them for a set of 5, 6, and then they make a choice.
Yes. So, and I prefer boards that give you that flexibility of choosing your own repertoire.
Yeah.
If a child is very interested in Bollywood music, and you give them an arrangement of a Bollywood song which they can play for the exam.
Trinity does that, I think.
Trinity doesn't.
No,
Sorry.
no, but Trinity now.
Only own composition is allowed.
Oh.
Free choice pieces only with Rock School.
Oh.
ABRSM is also very locked that this is the set of pieces.
No, but now.
List A, list B, list C.
But now Trinity has introduced Hindi songs
in the syllabus.
In the syllabus,
you
yeah.
can't do anything outside the syllabus.
Yeah, no, nothing outside the
So
syllabus.
the flexibility is not there. No? You can't pick and choose your own music if you want to do for the exam. Rock School does that. So they give you 2 out of the 3 pieces can be your own choices, and they could be anything.
Okay.
You have to provide the score for it, but they could be anything.
Okay.
So that gives you huge flexibility. Somebody likes Arijit Singh and they want to do that song, Tumi or something, be my guest. I have arranged it for grade 1, grade 4.
Oh, you can do that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you can arrange the same song at different levels and make the score of it and give it to the student. And they can use it for the exam. They love it. So they get the exam also, plus it's like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Really
yeah, something they do. Yeah, they are enjoying doing it also. Yeah.
Yep.
So tell me, what advice would you like to give to music teachers in India so that they can train children holistically?
See, the biggest thing missing with the teachers in India, I'll tell you, is professional development.
Yeah.
They learn whatever limited they know and they think this is it. I've arrived. I don't need to learn any further.
Yeah.
I was running this organization called the Western Music Education Association. I got it off the ground with Dr. Natalie Sarazin, who is also the curriculum director for the Bridge to Music project. Shivnadar also, she trained briefly the teachers there. There was just a 1 week's training.
Okay.
But she's a very, very senior music educator, and she has spent a huge amount of time in India, really. So I've worked with her also on these things. Professional development is something that the teachers don't appreciate enough.
Yeah.
With that kind of a thing, we still don't have a association of music teachers across India.
Yes, we don't. There are no meetups. There are no conferences.
We did conferences. We did everything. But how much can we do without the response from the teachers?
That's right.
So we kind of packed it up. So that is unfortunate, but that's the
reality. So professional development is of prime importance.
Absolutely. They do what they're comfortable doing. They don't want to step out of the comfort zone. And I don't blame them also. Life is so difficult. They have to fetch for so many things. They have to raise their family. They have to earn for it. And there's so many things happening. And within that to also layer up, how am I going to improve myself as a teacher? It's not easy. But it's not impossible. And within the limited time, you can do it. Even, in fact, for CBSE, school teachers have the mandate that you need to go through about 50 hours of professional development a year.
Now, most of the schools have that. You have to upgrade your education.
But they only do generic professional development on pedagogy or something, but they don't really upgrade themselves as musicians. That's a sad fact.
Yeah. So they suggest one piece that every child must learn to be on piano.
So when I started teaching back in '99, a first student and many students to follow were only interested in playing the Furelis.
Everybody, that I think is such an overplayed song, no?
Well, how many times have you heard it in concerts? Hardly ever.
You know why? Because it's too overplayed. And I did check with a concert pianist who had performed in India. I said there are very few pieces that we all know living here. So there's one Moonlight Sonata, and like just very few. So he said they are so overplayed that we just do not perform these pieces.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. So the thing is, music is abstract. It has no meaning. So if I say a word like rabbit, you can see something furry hopping around in your mind, right?
Yeah.
But when you hear a chord or a note on a piano, it doesn't plant any pictures in your head.
Yeah.
Which is why music is so subjective, which is the beauty of music, that it opens your creativity in such unique ways that no other thing or language can do it. So because music is abstract, you can't say that here is one piece of music that everybody's going to love. You will find people who don't like free release, right? Because it's a matter of choice and taste and what it
Yeah.
means to you. So you might create a piece of music thinking of a swan dying by a lake or a river, and somebody else might think, oh, I can picture kites flying in the sky. Totally different pictures they
Yeah.
can paint with the same music. So that's what music is. So I doubt if there's any one piece of music that everybody can like or love or should play for that matter.
Yeah. And have you ever tried transcribing Indian classical on the piano?
I wouldn't say Indian classical, but Bollywood music, yes.
Okay.
Indian classical is, again, every form of music deserves that respect. I've heard of one pianist who plays Carnatic classical on the piano.
Utsav Lal?
Not
Was it?
Utsav Lal.
No.
There are some pianists who have
Yeah,
done that. Utsav
okay.
Lal is also, he
One
was
of
my
them.
student also briefly, long time back.
He's a Steinway artist, no?
Is he now? Achha, I didn't know
Yes,
that.
he is.
So
yeah.
he's a wonderful person. He's made really great music for himself. So, but I don't think classical music is made for the piano because it doesn't really slide notes between them. Maybe for a C-board, a Rohde
That's
C-board, you might.
actually in Hindustani classical, it's called mean. So
Right.
piano doesn't have वो श्रुति नहीं होती है, so
Correct.
we can't fill in those notes, right?
You can do it on a geo shred or something that allows it.
Exactly.
Now there's technology that allows you to do it.
Yes,
It's not for the piano.
it's not for the piano.
But
So
Bollywood music, yes. I've arranged a lot of songs for the piano and that kids really love playing. I don't post it out there really, but it's really made for the students. The student says, sir, I want to play this song. I transcribe and give it to them. They enjoy.
yeah. So when you're teaching Western classical per se, do you also train children for orals, like separate oral training that you do, or is it just that a part of the piano lesson has sight reading and oral training?
Very, very good question. So this is a concept called simultaneous learning.
Hmm.
And I don't think that the child is learning only when he's sitting at the piano. A lot of things can happen away from the piano, even if it's to do with the piece that they're playing. So I'll give an instance that if I'm teaching a piece of music and I want to work on the sight reading for the child, what I will do is I'll have the child stand away from the piano, say, I'm going to play your music correctly once. Second time, I'm going to make a mistake and you have to catch me while you're making a mistake. Now the child has to follow the music to do that. Or I would say, okay, I'm going to stop at any point. The moment I stop, you have to point at the last note I played. To be able to do that, they really need to follow where I'm playing on the sheet music. That is also developing sight reading.
I also do the same, and I also tell them to point out where the cadences are, which cadence is it, which key are we in, what is the progression, what do you feel of the progression, and we talk about the key.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. So tell me, do you follow the solfege system of teaching?
I do.
You do.
Yeah, I do that. Like I learned on the books from Berkeley. I didn't go to Berkeley, but I got all the books from Berkeley. So I did the ear training 1, 2, 3, 4, music harmony 1, 2, 3, 4. I did the Mark Levin jazz theory book and the jazz piano book as well. That is also Mark Levin. And I did a lot of self-study with those things. Mark Harrison ear training book, and I did like solfa training from the Berkeley books back then. And yeah, I got a lot of those things. In fact, I learned Carnatic vocals for 2 years just to train my ear for that.
That's
So it
what even
really,
I
really
have
helps.
done and I'm doing. So, Indian classical, I feel that it's very important to train yourself in Indian classical. You get so well trained orally,
True.
and when you sit on the piano, everything makes meaning. It's so easy
True,
to
true.
relate to music, right?
So it is not, this benefit is not limited to the Indian or Western classical music or Carnatic music for that matter. Any form of singing will help you develop your ear.
I
So
agree.
singing is important.
I
What
agree.
you sing, which system you follow is not so important. You can follow solfa
Because
system or anything.
our voice is the first instrument, for any child.
Yeah, it's a proven fact. Without singing, developing ear is very difficult.
Yeah.
So singing is an important part of learning, which is why general music education typically takes care of that. So if the kids are exposed to that kind of learning with this kind of charanga kind of a program from class nursery onwards, by the time they get to class 5, the ear is already half trained. And when they pick up an instrument, it'll be a breeze because they can already anticipate what's going to happen next. They have harmonic sense, they have melodic sense. They're able to do those things.
You already are in a win-win situation, no?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Ritesh, for taking out time and speaking
Pleasure.
to us about music education. What is one last advice would you like to give to our learners, teachers,
So,
parents?
you see, one thing that everybody struggles with, including students and the teachers, is practice. And today's life is very, very different compared to when I was learning the piano. So today we have lot more distractions. My time there was no internet, so there was hardly any distraction really. Now we have devices around us, screens around us, so difficult to do this. So the main thing is the discipline, and everybody is gifted with the same amount of time every day, 24 hours a day. Just be very mindful of what you're doing with that time. I think mindfulness is the key. If you're just mindful about, I'm wasting time on social media, I'm doing this or I'm doing this, that is a big win. So just take time out to practice every day. That's what it is.
Thank you. That was such a
Absolute pleasure.
meaningful advice. Thank you so much.
Absolute my
So
pleasure. Thank you.
stay tuned with us and see you soon on our third episode.